So I take it you want to be an ancient space ninja. Sure, sounds appealing. I myself have sunk 1,000 hours into this pursuit, and at times it is truly fun, but there is always the potential for burnout. But where do you begin? What approach should you take in the pursuit of becoming a Tenno in the world of Warframe? I'll try to keep it quick. Hopefully none of this changes. I'd hate to leave the new players bewildered. First up, the main goal you should have in your checklist is to open up the entirety of the star chart. This will involve a little work, as some nodes are locked behind their own checklists of mini-missions you must complete. Thankfully, your efforts will be, for the most part, rewarded. You will also need to keep an eye on your quest log. There are a few world hubs that lay dormant until completing certain elements of the core story. Now, this is important for many reasons, not least of which is the ability to utilize the mission system that is so firmly nested in Warframe. Although the community tends to be nice enough to taxi you places you really want to go, there are times where access will be denied to you, and if you need the catalyst, reactor, or crafting material locked behind a planet you have not visited, you'll be missing out on important boons to your own progression. Beyond that, you would miss out on major events. You'd be rendered inefficient when it comes to grinding for material you need to make your next weapon or Warframe. Unable to hunt for the best prime parts to sell on the market. An empty universe is lonely, Tenno. So get out there and bear witness to all it has to offer. And along the way, try not to forget this. Beyond your weapons, Warframes, and pets, there is a number that serves more as a gatekeeper than anything the star charts have to throw at you. Your mastery rank. Probably the most confusing thing I dealt with when I first walked the system. It can block you from weapons you may want, as well as making it to some of the hub planets in your star chart. This is where it can get a little tricky. Now, certainly Warframe is a free-to-play game in every sense of the idea, but it has to make you debate spending money on it to give you some comforts. Although this can be avoided, it is tied to your inventory system. In particular, they limit how many slots you have for things like Warframes, weapons, sentinels, pets, anything that increases mastery rank pretty much. So until you join the in-game market, you'll have to be economical with decisions here. Mastery rank is increased by leveling a new item to full. It works only once per item, and progress on this is tracked in your codex. This means similar items with different qualifiers are considered separate. You can level a Nyx to 30, as well as a Nyx Prime, and receive the reward for both. Currently, the maximum mastery rank achievable is higher than the highest element of gated content in the game, so achieving this goal should be easily within reach, even easier after accessing the in-game economy. Speaking of which, Digital Extremes did something interesting that not many games in the genre try to attempt. They allowed players to use Platinum, their in-game real money currency, to purchase items in the game from other players. There is a tax on this with in-game credits. This is meant to create a needed economy sink on a currency that would otherwise go mostly unused. It doesn't really matter. What matters is I can sell a set of Prime gear that might not be currently accessible on a market to a person who will give me a currency that I can buy premium in-game content with. For instance, extra inventory slots for weapons and all those things I talked about in the Mastery Rank chapter. Rather than discarding an item to clear up space that you may want to use later, you'll actually be able to keep it. And the best part is that the storage slots, like most of the quality of life premium purchases, tends to be on the cheap side. Only a few platinum at most, which can equate to an hour or even less of grinding for prime parts, or even unique or event-locked mods. A friend of mine who has put over 3,000 hours, yeah, you heard me, 3,000 hours, and he has yet to spend a dime on Warframe, but he has full inventory slots, full Warframe slots. He has all kinds of premium skins, specialized weapons, all purchased through this in-game trading system, through planned farming, stocking up on mods that will be locked away later on, only to wait for the market value to climb, collecting whole sets of worthwhile prime weapons and armor. He's been able to sustain his gameplay through only this interaction. So for as long as the game does well financially, there is really a space for the truly hardcore free-to-play players to be able to keep up with the rest of everyone else. The trick is how to trade. Early on, you were limited to having to find Maru's Bazaar and simply coordinating through chat to have someone make the purchase from you. Be sure to have plenty of in-game credits for this, as that tax remains. The alternative is to be part of a clan that has its own trading center. And honestly, as early as you possibly can, you need to find and join a clan. The hope is that you join a clan that you like with people you can play with, of course. Seek that out if possible. But when it comes to ease of trading, as well as the hunt for mastery rank gains, a fully constructed clan hall will be your main focus. With several hubs dedicated to researching weapons themed around the different enemy races, as well as a lab meant to bring ancient Tenno technology back to life, if you're looking for a little bit of mastery rank experience, or even wanting one of the many weapons considered to be best in the game before prime weapons, you need to have access to one of these halls. And there is a benefit to having a clan hall filled with active players seeking to enhance the power of that clan. All members have access to donating needed material to research the blueprints needed for weapons and warframes. There are even further layers to this with solar rails and such, but the main focus here is on the potential for progression. You can't do this alone, Tenno. And last but not least, all these elements are tied into crafting. If you want the weapons, you need to know how to build them. They'll give you rank, which will give you quests, which will give you new access to new areas of the universe. All roads lead to crafting. And this is where the community comes in, much more so than myself. If you need to find a good place to farm Oxium, check forums or even the wiki, which, by the way, is one of the best kept publicly run gaming wikis I have ever seen. And early on, pay attention to blueprint requirements. After fully ranking a Balto, hold on to it, because eventually you will need to make another, and then you can craft something called an Balto, which is just a dual-wield weapon. Even more mastery rank there. And know that there are deployables and keys and all kinds of things that come from crafting. All these things shift and change what you have access to and how you're able to play, so keep an eye out for ways to increase your arsenal. Now these are tips for getting started that I find best maximize your potential. I spoke nothing of min-maxing, nothing of the open world, the reputation grind, special events, war fronts, weapons and elemental damage, player versus player. These things you can figure out over time, and if they confuse you too much, the Warframe community is normally considered one of the most open and accessible communities in gaming today. Now get out there, take to the stars, and find out what it means to be an unstoppable force in a war that has raged for centuries. Good luck, Tenno. Hey, thanks for watching. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do this. Hopefully it was helpful to you new people, and if you liked what you saw, there's a thumb and subscribe and whatnot over there somewhere. Apparently they do something. And stay tuned for more of all things gaming.